All right, everything's going through the tubes. Yeah, session 21. Let's see what we are going to be working on. 2 votes. Exciting. We're going to be moving color variables to their appropriate collection levels. If you watched the previous stream, you'll remember that it was just a lot of renaming. We've got one big variable collection called colors because that's going to be its scope, just going to be colors. You know, we're gonna not have number variables in here, and it's primitives. The problem, though, you can see this 00 prefix. To me, that's my way of saying this is a primitive level collection, but we've got semantic level variables in here too. That's designated with this O1, and then O2 would be a component level. So there's a lot of stuff in here that needs to move, and I gave it my best shot looking through the community for something for moving variables between collections, which I imagine might not exist because that's probably a very difficult thing to do when you think about modes. And I am not skilled enough in the Automator plugin to do something, write some sort of expression that says if a variable group or variable meets this criteria in its naming, I want you to first create a new collection, move anything that meets X criteria into that collection, and then, or make like a duplicate of it even, and then delete it from the original collection that it came from. Something like that would be great. I don't know how to write that, unfortunately. Some good news though, around Automator, now that I'm thinking about it. If you had not done a trial or had bought and paid for that app to use, something to note is that Diagram, the company that built that plugin, and a lot of other really neat stuff, it was announced at Config that Figma acquired them, and I believe Automator is now going to be free to use moving forward. It's not going to be natively built into Figma, but it is a plugin now that Figma, the company, technically produces because they own, you know, Diagram. So that's exciting. That's still on my list of things I'd like to learn because I think it could be really powerful. I see some great material from other designers using it to do things like divest from base components, but that's not what the stream's about. I need to get going on moving these variables. So we'll just start, you know, in this little sidebar here with our groups, and yeah. So we've got our primitive colors. I guess we need to create our semantic colors, and we also need to create our components, which in this case, I'm going to just have one collection for components and everything will go in there. Now, could I, oh, this is another reason why I do the naming. I don't know that this is alpha-numeric sorted, this list. So let's say 03, oh, not 034. It seems to be, because you can see this is now in the middle of the list. And where did my, oh, I lost my semantic colors. Okay, there we are. So that's another reason that I'm using the number variables. It could be in the future that Figma lets us order our collections whatever way we want, but for now, alphanumeric sort, so I just want to make sure that the smallest foundational stuff is kind of clumped together, and same with those other levels. So the numbers are really good for that. Oh, and what am I doing? 03. That would be 02. Okay, so we've got these set up, and I think what I'm gonna do here is I'm just double checking that that there's no update that I need to run. Let's see. I'm like hoping that there's something out there. Check for updates. No update available. Okay, that there would be something that would let me something natively built, perhaps, that would let me make this move. So this is going to be a lot of copy pasting. I suppose I'll start with the names, and I'll just be doing a lot of this stream. So this would be a good stream for asking questions in the YouTube chat, or if you want to come onto this about page of the Figma file, if you have access, happy to do that. Oh my gosh. So you can see that this is going to be a little bit tedious. As I move from one collection to the other, it defaults me not to where I left off, which I can understand why. But that's a lot more clicks for me as I'm moving these variables. So I'll do action primary active. We'll go to colors. I need to click into all variables, rename this one, go back, find my action group, remember where I was, grab the right hex code. Now here's something else. These aren't going to be flat hex codes. Oh, I seem to have only copied the 3 to my clipboard. We know that this color already exists, so 4495D7. Let's look for that. We want to alias. That's the whole point of what we're doing. So that would probably be in these. And this is something else I talked about in the last stream, and I think, Jared, you did, if you're watching this, you did a great job of calling me out on like my naming here. Primary, success, destructive. Those are names you would use at the semantic level, but here I was putting them in my primitive level. So let's be a bit more, I guess, blunt with the naming. These are blues. Success are going to be greens. But before I lose those names, I'm going to do a parenthetical with that previous name, just so that way when I move to the semantic group, I have a record of like what that name should be. So we'll delete the parentheses later, but like destructive will be red. And I'm not going to do plural, I think. Because the way, and you know, even though there are multiple items, so this is a collection of different blues, plural, the way a single token is going to read is going to be like blue/200, right? So we're going to be looking at them as individuals. So we'll avoid the plural. Marketing is an interesting one. There's some odd colors in here. I wonder if I might find a way to distribute these. I would call this, well, let's open this up. This is definitely some sort of yellow, or, you know, we're kind of getting into orange. I would call it a yellow. Buttermilk is also in that same color space. Let's also shift this to something like HSL so we can see the hues. So that's 41, that's 42. Those are right next door to each other. Now we've got something in 20, which is getting us closer to red, so it's in the oranges, and then a green for sure, and a kind of nuclear green at that. It's in that weird space between yellow and green. So we'll see where we can put these. This green I don't think belongs with these. These all seem to be in the same neighborhood. We've got 89, 87, 88. Yeah, like I'm not expecting these to. What's our range here? The lowest is maybe 82, the highest is 90. Okay, 78 is our lowest, 79. So yeah, these are kind of in a really tight little collection there. So I don't know if we would move this marketing green anywhere. Anyway, neutrals. Really helpful, but these are grays. Warning. A really great way to say how these should be used, but these are yellows. Action. And here we are. Now we've arrived back at our action colors. So I'm going to just do like some question marks on marketing because I don't know what to do with that quite yet. But 4495 D7. So let's go to our blues, and we can see that that is blue 600. So now we can come back here and alias that. Say 600. We know it's blue. And let's do the same. And I should be deleting these as we go. Once we get everything in there, then we can delete. So 36, 74, A7. Oh, I did not check to see what color that was at all. There we are, 700. Not components, colors. Cool. All right. Action primary disabled, A8, D8, FO. That's one of the lighter ones. 300. Oh, and I forgot to copy the name. I will get better at this as we go along. But there's a lot of opportunities here for me to, there's a lot, I'm noticing a lot of information I have to hold in my head for a very short amount of time as I'm moving between these spaces. And like, even though I'm copy pasting, I want to be, I'm going for accuracy. Lots of opportunities for me to mess up, misapply a value to a field. I'm also noticing that like double clicking in here to select all the text, like I almost didn't select it all. Okay, this is one of our neutrals, 8E, 8E, 93. Oh, let's go see what that is. This is a neutral. That is going to be gray 600. Hold on. Yeah, action primary. I just had a brief thought of, hey, these are components, but I don't think so. Okay, that was gray 300. Oh, interesting. When I was hovering over this, the tooltip I expected would have the full range of alias connections going backwards from this point. So it would show me the hex code in here. That would have been a great way to double check that. I wanted to see that 8E, 8E again, just to make sure it pasted the right thing, but no. All right, so we'll go back into action. We've already deleted the variable. 8E, 8E, 93. Looks a little darker. Probably going to be 400. No. 600. Now hold on. Oh, maybe deleting as I go is not the way. So what was 300 then? I don't remember saying D1, D1. Okay, is there a way to check? Do I still have that gigantic JSON? Let's go back to YNAB and we'll get back in the inspector and check our source. How did I get there? API. Let's go back to elements. Oh, I think, how did I find that? I might have even found it through looking at an element here. Right, body theme classic on all of these colors. So let's see. I guess this is telling me the line of the CSS file that these are on. This is before YNAB webhead. Oh, here we are, the root. Okay, this looks familiar. Okay, I was in kind of the right place. So we found it's searchable. It was our action disabled. Right? That was the one. Or no, action secondary. 8E 93. So I guess I did have it wrong. We want 600 for that. So I must have just messed up on the colors. Wow, a lot of time spent there just trying to unravel that. Okay, action secondary. I'm just comparing the swatches because that's the best. Can I hover over this? Can I get? Oh wait, well no, that is the hex code. So what I need from Figma is to reveal the hex code. But yeah, AE 93, 600. Good. Okay, okay. Now where have we left off? So that's action secondary. We'll go back. We'll go to our actions. We've got this one. Oh my gosh. Okay. Action secondary active. 63, 63, 66. And let's figure out what that maps to. 700. So we'll go to our colors. We'll paste in the name. We want 700. Yeah, not the most thrilling stream, but I mean, this is the most efficient way I could think to do this work. Action secondary border uses D1, D1, D6, which is 300. Now, the more I'm looking at these collection names, the less I'm liking having colors and colors. And I said it, I know what I said at the top of the stream where I was like, it's just going to be colors in this primitive collection. That might not be true. In fact, actually, it won't be. The reason why is, and I think I mentioned this in the last stream, I think that for your primitive collection, you shouldn't be using modes. You should just have a name and a value. It's these other layers of meaning where we get to semantics and components, where modes, that feels like the place to introduce a mode, because we just need our raw materials, and then we might have, now that we know, like, okay, this blue is one of our primary colors or our brand colors or whatever, with that context, a mode might make more sense. So I could see other things like spacing going in here as well, is what I'm trying to get at. Action secondary border, D1, D1, D6. Oh, no, did we just do that? I shouldn't do tangents. Yes, we did just do that, so I can delete that. Action secondary disabled, C7, C7, CC, which is one of our lighter ones. 400. Tertiary, 36, 74, A7, and that is a blue. 700. Delete. Last one for the action group, action tertiary active. 24, 45, 64 is a blue. There it is, 800. Something I also hope to see as this new feature evolves is way better keyboard navigation. I find that tabbing does not do what I expect it to do. I would love to be able to be pressing tab and enter and shift enter to get out of a dialogue, enter to get into a dialogue, or to commit something. And it just doesn't work like that. And that's the reason why I want that as a user. Is this is very much a table kind of interface. I expect to be able to use arrow keys and tabbing to navigate this sort of space. It's a lot more efficient. But yeah, it's only in some parts does it do that. And that's, you know, it's in beta. I'm gonna, I understand. Can't do it all. And it will get better. I know it will. So cool. That is our action group done. We've got 3 more at the semantic level, and then a ton of components, which this is another thing I hate. Hate's a strong word, but like going from like this action bar that only has 2 variables, the whole interface shrinks down. Oh, I'm just realizing in my stream that's kind of a crummy placement. My little this part where I've got my face was probably blocking a lot of the interface, so I'll try and keep this in a better spot. But anyway, action bar only has 2 things in it, but if we go up to accent, there's way more, and the height drops down, and it's when you're clicking between these, like that's just it's all over the place. So that makes this, I think, another reason why the panel is a little bit hard to work with. I also wish it would just grow in one direction. You can see when we got into messages here, it grew both vertically, like vertical in both directions, up and down. So, okay, let's go label. Label has quite a few. Label dark background is using pure white, which is probably in the grays. It's not. Ah, a shame. I'm gonna make an executive decision and just call that 0 then. And we'll put it at the top of the list. Ah, that didn't help, just narrowing my filter by 0. A lot of these variables, the primitives have a 0 in them. Okay, so real quick, now that we're getting into a second group here, I want to do a little bit of cleaning up as we go. These should all be in a group. That's easy to do. And it should be action, right? Which is going to allow us to remove this prefix because it's accounted for. So we want these like primary active, primary disabled, all that. Okay, let's actually try this like a keyboard. So I'm actively typing in a field, and if I hit enter, it's still selected. I want to be able to use my down arrow key to move down, right? Or tab also doesn't do anything. So that would let me work a lot faster. I wouldn't have to be moving my hand from the keyboard to the mouse so much. Okay, we could further group these, right? We've got primary, secondary, tertiary. I think it's worth doing. I was debating, like, is that too much? But yeah. And we don't want this to be nameless. So we're going to call it default. Active, disabled. We'll do the same with secondary. This becomes default. Active. Border. This is interesting. Disabled. So this is describing a piece of anatomy. These are describing a state of interaction and availability. It's fine. This was secondary. Forgot to name the group. And then we have tertiary. Default. Active. Something you'll notice here, and this is top of mind for me because I just got a question from somebody about this, but you'll notice action secondary has things like border, but tertiary doesn't. And tertiary also doesn't have disabled. It only has default and active. And I relate to this, but I've definitely spoken with folks who have a desire to like fill things out and have all these, you know, have equal representation of variables across groups. And before variables, this would come up with variants too. But if they know that that thing isn't going to be used, that is what holds them back from actually making it. And I think that's good because I've learned that you shouldn't just round out, fill things out for the sake of having the materials there. Only build what you need. Only build what you're going to use. And yeah, that's, I think, just a good principle. So while it kind of bothers me that they don't all four, like not all groups have all four of these, I know that we're only putting things in here that are actually in use, and that's better long term. Okay, so now that we've got that going, let's get a group going for our labels just ahead of time. Label, and I'm going to collapse this. And we can keep going. Did our label, did we finish that one? Yeah, we connected that up. Okay, good. That's the first one we did. Now we have heading with a really dark blue, 2538 for F. 900. Here's something else too. Figma doesn't know that I'm in a semantic layer, and when I click into this, I am not going to use a raw hex value, and that I'm going to go to libraries. But, like, again, clicking in, can I not just tab from custom, like this is the live thing right now, or I guess not. The thing that becomes selected is this input down here, which is a shame. Could I like tab? I want to be able to tab up here, won't let me. 900. And as I do this, I'm just going to remove the label prefix because we won't need it. And we've got dark background heading, and these are for labels. I'm just trying to kind of understand these as we go. Label negative. I only want negative actually. And that's CA481D. That looks like a red. That is 600. Ah, here we are. Okay, tabbed over, hitting enter to get that color picker open, and I can't. Sorry, I'm doing a lot of complaining, but I think, you know, with love, I'm really excited about having this feature, and I'm eager for the team to improve it. 93, 28, 10. Another red. 700. Here, in this dialogue, arrow keys work great. Oh, tab works great. Obsessed. Yeah, more of that. Take how that dialogue is working, apply it to some other dialogues, apply it to this interface. All right. Just did that one. Negative, disabled. So yeah, I can see starting to group these by like negative, positive, and then we've got primary, secondary, tertiary. That's interesting too. F49E8B is also a red. 200. $69F38 is a green. 700. Dang it. 700. $32, 44, 12. 800. primary. 38, 3E, 41 is a gray. Hmm. $38, 3E, 41. We found a gray that we don't have here. That's okay. We will just use the raw hex for now. We'll save that. But that's an interesting one. We do still want it in our semantic collection, but okay, secondary. Let's see if the same thing happens. 63, 63, 66. I recognize that as 700. Shoot, 700. Tertiary. I'm going to finish out this label collection, and I see the time is 8 here, which, you know, getting 2 groups done is pretty good. 8E, 8E, 93. Oh, didn't even look to see what color that was. Gray. 600. Nearly there. Last one. Label warning. 67, 3B, 0A. Looks like yellow, a really deep yellow. 67, 3B, 0A. There it is. Yellow, 800. All right. So, 2 groups left at the semantic level, and then a ton of component level variables. Wow. Yeah. Lots of stuff going on there. I am torn. I would like to stream every minute of working on this because I think it's, you know, I want to be true to like every part of the process and make that available, not just for you guys, selfishly for myself too. This is a good record of like my own learning and, you know, how I'm working. So having it recorded is valuable, but at the same time, I recognize that this is really tedious, not super interesting. This is the boring part, right? Where we don't yet have the tools to work very efficiently with variables when we're doing these migrations, when we realize we've built things in the wrong spot. Oh, Adrian, hey, I'm just getting your messages in the chat. Oh, okay, suggestions for names? Yeah, I'll think about those next time. Cool. Yeah, foundations as a private collection theme. Yeah, YNAB has themes, so that's, I mean, that'll probably be like, I don't know, I was thinking of using modes for those, but swapping out the whole collection could be interesting. Anyway, I'll think a bit on that, whether this is worth continuing to record, spending a few sessions on this, or if I can just do this on my own at some point and then we can pick up once everything's moved. But the process is going to be the same until that plugin comes out that lets me move things automatically. Then it has to be manual, so it is what it is. But yeah, if you are interested in influencing what the next stream looks like, you can subscribe to my newsletter. I've got a link in the description, and yeah, you'll get the opportunity to vote a week from today, so that would be the 17th, and the following stream would be a week after that, so 24th. Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for watching, and